Hi guys, Ms. Cullen here. So I'm going to do a quick video on proportions. I'm going to split this up into two parts. So the first part here on proportions is page 1. So real quick, I'm going to start off by showing you what you're going to be doing for the Googling ones, the Googling pages with the little G in the top corner. Here it says proportional. I just Googled proportional, right? And Google has a ton of information. They even give me a little math definition down here. It says corresponding in size or amount to something else. And then it also says having a constant ratio to another quantity. So I'm going to actually take the math definition here. Having a constant ratio to another quantity. And I'm going to come down here and, well, that's what I'm going to easily paste in here, right? So that shouldn't take you too long. What does that mean? Maybe the other definition made a little more sense to you, corresponding in size or amount to something else. Maybe you want to copy that down too. I'm going to copy them both down. Okay. Um, so here is the first example that I have for you guys, which actually has to do with size. Um, and of course, Ms. Cullen picked one of her favorite cars, a Lamborghini here, all right? So I just pasted these pictures in here. You don't have them, you don't have to draw them. They're just a little bit more visual for you guys to see. It says if the full-size car, here's my Lambo, is 48 inches tall, so I labeled that here, and 176 inches long, and the toy car, so here's a little toy Lambo, is 3 inches tall. How long is the toy car? So, if these are proportional, which we are saying that they are, we should be able to set up something called a proportion in order to solve for this. Okay, so you guys have probably seen proportions in algebra. But having a constant ratio means that we can set up a ratio between these two. So ratio looks like a number over a number, right? So I'm going to set up the corresponding parts basically like we did before, right? So I know that maybe on the top here it even helps you to label what you're putting in your numerator and what you're putting in your denominator. I'm going to do um, the height over how long it is. Okay, so up here is my height in blue. So I know that the toy car is 3 inches tall. Um, and I know that the Lamborghini is 48 inches tall. So those are in equal proportion. This is a lot like similarity. Um, and then I know that I don't know how long my toy car is, but I know that my Lamborghini is 176 inches long. Okay? So in order to find this, in order to find x, there's a couple different ways you guys can think about this. Um, Obviously, you guys have probably seen something called cross multiplying, where we go like this and we multiply these two numbers here, and then we multiply these numbers and set them equal to each other. That's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is 3 times what equals 48, and then divide 176 by that number. Either way, it's the same thing, okay? So I'm going to focus on cross multiplying in this video. So when you cross multiply, I'm going to have 3 times 176 equals 48 times x, okay? And I'm not going to do that sign because that confuses us. So I'm just going to do a little asterisk there as multiplying, okay? I only have certain things I can type with here. So now I have an equation. Okay, I'm going to multiply 3 times 176, and that's 528. So now we have 528 equals 48x. My last step is to divide both sides by 48. and you should get x equals 11. Okay, so whenever you get an answer, it's always important to rationalize this and with these word problems and see, does that make sense, right? Okay, 11 inches for the toy car. Yeah. If you got something larger than the actual Lamborghini, you should be sitting there and say, okay, does my proportion make sense? Okay, this should be smaller, these sides, compared to that one. All right, so that's what we're going to be looking at here in these practice problems. Cross multiplying. So I'm going to kind of shoot through these quickly so I don't make this video too long for you guys. You're doing x times 6 equals 12 times 4. I'm just going to kind of type that out. X times 6 equals 12 times 4. Okay, so you have 6x equals 12 times 4, and obviously there you're going to want to multiply it, so 48. And then my last step is obviously divide both sides by 6. So the biggest thing in these problems is really just setting them up. Cross multiplying, this should be pretty easy for you. You should get x equals 8. Okay. Same thing here. Now it gets a little more complicated when we get to problems like this, where you're now multiplying by more than just two numbers. So now over here, maybe you need to draw, maybe you're going to say, okay, I'm always going to take these numbers and put them over here. So 4 times x plus 8 equals 5 times x, okay? Now, and then I'll put my denominators over here. Now, whenever you see a quantity, a larger quantity like this, you're going to put it in parentheses. Why? Because you need to remember to distribute, okay? So put it in parentheses because you need to remember to distribute. Okay? So write a little note to yourself there. So now I'm going to do 4 times x plus 4 times 8 equals 5x. So I have 4x plus 32 equals 5x. And I'm going to combine. I have to subtract each side. I have to subtract 4x over here. Subtract 4x over here. Okay, so I'm left with 32 over here. 32 equals x. So x equals 32. Okay. Keep cruising through these. Here I have, now on this side I have 7 times x minus 4, the whole quantity of x minus 4, equals 3 times x plus 2. So I want to see this whole thing out, people. I need to see this first step. Write it out. Write the full thing. You're taking this full thing, and you're taking this full thing, and you're writing it out so you don't forget any steps. Then you're distributing both terms in this one. So now I have 7x minus 28 equals 3x plus 6. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides because I don't want to get a negative x. And I'm going to have 4x over here. So I have 4x minus 28 equals, and I just have a 6 left over there because those cancel. Okay, so these, boom, this is 4x. I'm going to add my 28 over. And I'm going to get 34, and then I'm also going to divide by 4, and I'm going to get x equals 8.5. Okay, same thing over here. You should try this one on your own, And when you do, you get x equals -3. This is all for this video. I'm going to do a part 2 for the real world examples. Thanks so much.